You will need to kind of maybe do like 3 or 4 hours or the night before or the morning of. Just make your marinade and get your steak marinating. So in this bowl, I already have about half a cup or so of just a neutral oil. I'm using vegetable oil, and about 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, because that's what I had, but you can use any kind of vinegar that you have. You just want some acidity in it. Then we're going to add some ginger, fresh ginger. I just bought this little container that's in the produce department, or you can grate your own. Don't use dried ginger. They're two entirely different flavors. Dried ginger is more for baking type things, whereas your fresh ginger is much more pungent, almost has a heat to it, but it's not hot like a cayenne pepper or something. It's got a little bite to it. It's delicious. If you don't have fresh ginger, then just leave it out. We're going to add some garlic powder, some soy sauce. Measurements are subjective here. You know, about 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce. I like low sodium soy. And then a little bit of honey, a couple of tablespoons or so of honey, and a little bit of pepper. Now, I'm not going to add any salt because the soy sauce has a lot. I'm also going to add 1 little green onion. This part is optional. If you don't want to add the green onion, you don't have to, but it just adds a little bit of flavor. I got a tiny little knife here. All of it, the green and the white. It's fine. Then we're going to add that to our marinade. My little scooper. We're going to whisk all of that together. Leave that to the side for a minute, and let's talk a little bit about our steak. Now, you can use whatever kind of steak you want with this recipe. You could use ribeyes, you could use sirloin, you could use, I probably wouldn't go with like eye around or something like that. You could use skirt steak, you could use sirloin flat meat if you can find it, but I really like flank steak. It's less expensive. This is exactly how it comes. When you buy it in the store, it is typically like this in the counter. But if you unfold it, as you can see, it's one big long muscle. On the cow, it's near the brisket, and there's only one per cow, but this is really, really a good piece of meat. It's one of my favorites. My favorite steak is ribeye and picanha, but my second favorite steak is this. I mean, it's just delicious. Now, so that the marinade can get inside the meat and do its job, I got to kind of watch the wind here. You want to take a sharp knife lightly. Now, we're not cutting through the meat. You just want to kind of score the meat into like a diamond shape. So go one way and then turn your knife and go the other. Not deep. You can see I'm really only going maybe 1/8 of an inch. And then turn it over and do this side. And always remember, which you can see when we get it cooked, you'll see what I'm talking about, but flank steak has a very, very distinctive pattern to it, or not pattern, but well, it is a pattern, a muscle fiber. The muscle strands or fibers run lengthwise. When you serve flank steak, when you cut flank steak, you want to cut against that grain of the beef in order to make it not chewy. Instead of getting one long strand, you're getting them shorter. And I'll show you what I'm talking about when we cut it. So you see how we just put that, cut a diamond shape in there. We're going to take our steak and put it inside a container of some sort. I just like to use Ziploc baggies, but you could use any kind of a container that you want. I like to fold down the edges where the seal is in order to keep it from getting any kind of liquid or anything in there, so you get a good seal. Stir your mixture once more. And then pour this over top of your flank steak. And then seal it up. And this needs to marinate for, you know, at least an hour. But if you can do it like overnight, it's even better. I would put this inside something, you know, a bowl or something in case you get some leaks. So what I like to do is just take it and make sure that that marinade gets all inside all those little nooks and crannies where we cut the slices. That way it can do what it needs to do. Now I already have a couple marinated. I went ahead and did 2 because I'm feeding a crew of people here. Last night I let it set in the refrigerator overnight, just turned it a couple of times, so it's ready to go. But this will go in the refrigerator and can marinate, you know, a couple of hours, and we can grill it later. But let's talk a little bit about the grill. Well, let's get started on the little potato packets. And by the way, if you have extra of these little onions, these things are fabulous, just thrown on the grill, brush them with a little bit of olive oil, couple of minutes. They are so good on the grill. When my mama was alive and she had a garden, we had, you know, green onions all the time. Would just love to go out to the garden and pick some and throw them on the grill. They're really good. So that's what I'm going to do with the rest of my little bunch, because I don't have a garden. I had to buy them. I like to make little potato packets to go on the grill. Now, you could also do this in the oven. But, you know, I want to show you how to not heat up your, I need to get my trash can where I need it, not heat up your house. So I like to take about, you know, 4 or 5 sheets of aluminum foil. I prefer non-stick. This is not the time to use that really thin, cheap aluminum foil. It'll burn, it'll just disintegrate. This is one time you do want to use good foil. And I'm going to do probably 4 or so packets. You don't have to make the little packets. You can put them in a tray and just put it on the grill or in the oven. But I want to show you how to do the little packets. So let me get this here. Now, I want to show you real quick another way to oil your grates. Take some paper toweling. Take your tongs, don't burn yourself, and oil your grates with the oil. And then put your lid down, let it heat back up, and there you go. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm just gonna clean up. When I come back, we're gonna get our potato packets ready to go. I'll be back in just a minute. All right, now welcome back. We're going to get our potato and onion packets on the grill. And I have here just some regular potatoes that I scrubbed. I personally don't, I just as soon eat the peel. I don't peel mine always. So you do, if you want to, you go ahead. But you do want to make sure that you cut these potatoes pretty thin, because remember, these actually take longer to cook than the steak does. So I'm just going to cut them into thinner pieces so that they cook quicker. If you have a mandolin, that would be perfect for this. As I get them cut, I'm just dropping them into my bowl. Here's where you could use whatever you want. If you wanted to use red potatoes, you could. If you wanted to use yellow potato, whatever you like. The gold potatoes are delicious. These are just regular Idaho russets. But this is one of our favorite ways to have potatoes. They really are very good. That one's got a little spot in it. Let's cut that out. And sometimes if I'm not grilling, I still make these, but I will cut them in, or cook them in the oven, roast them in the oven, and they're delicious that way too. I still put them in the little foil packets. We call them hobo pack potatoes. Now I just want to slice them thin. I also have a Vidalia onion because they're in season, and oh, they're so good when they're cooked. Sometimes I like to just saute them and have them alone as a side dish. I think I'll do these one at a time. So I love to grill. I grill all the time. When the weather cooperates, it can be year round. As long as, well, I have even gone out in snow and done it, but you know, as long as it's not bitter, bitter cold, I really do enjoy grilling food. I like to grill outside, but I don't like to run back and forth between the stove and the grill. So I try to do as much as I can on the grill. I can't wait to show you this banana dessert. You're gonna be floored when you see how we're gonna do dessert. Gonna be delicious. Okay, I'm doing 4 potatoes, but you do as many as you need. I'll tell you something my mama used to do, not on the grill, but in her oven, is she would take the Vidalia onions and she would take the peeling off and kind of core out the center and put some butter, and maybe even like a beef bouillon cube or a chicken bouillon cube, wrap it in foil and bake it in the oven. Oh, they're good like that. But I'm a cooked onion fan. I'm not a raw onion fan. Don't like them at all. But cooked, oh, I love them. I know this is kind of boring watching me cut up potatoes, but got to be done. Got one more here. Okay, I'm gonna cut this one kind of that way. It's a little easier to manage. And then we'll do our potato or our onion. Now, if you've got someone, and I do have someone here that doesn't like onions in their potatoes, so I'm gonna make 1 packet without onions, and then I'll do the rest with onions. Because that someone that doesn't like onions is my son, who's on the camera. And when he found out what we were cooking, I said, don't worry, I'm gonna make you one without them. All right, we're about there. Now, should have had these cut ahead, but I have to drain them, and I don't have anywhere to do that here. Guess I could have done it in the dirt, but it's all right. Okay, now what you're gonna want, this is simple. You could use a packet of dry Lipton onion soup mix, which I do real often, or you can just simply dress them with some salt and pepper and oil. That looks like a lot of pepper, but I got a lot of potatoes here. You will want to, in a bowl of some sort, make sure that you get them all coated with the oil, because they need that fat to cook them and get them good and golden and brown and delicious. I need a little bit more. Okay, now I'm gonna make one without, don't you flour it. Make sure if you're using nonstick that you use the duller side for the food, because that's the nonstick part. Take some of your potatoes and then fold it up like this and get an airtight seal on them. seal up the edges. This also makes cleanup a breeze. And then we'll cut up the onion. This is a Vidalia, but you can use whatever you want. If you don't like onions, leave it out. If you don't have an onion, but you got the onion soup mix, add that. Up to you. I like to cut the onions just into small dice like this. And add that into our potatoes. And then we will divide it out among the foil. Okay. Might need to add a little more oil since we've got onions going in. You could add some mushrooms to this if you wanted. I've got some to saute separately. You could add anything you wanted. If you wanted to make a little vegetable medley, you could slice some zucchini or red pepper, a red pepper or green pepper or whatever kind of pepper you have. You could totally use that. And we're just going to make up our little packets. Just make sure it's sealed up and throw them on the grill. These will take about 20 minutes-ish to cook. I think I'm going to need another little piece of foil. That's a little too full. If you overfill them, they take a lot longer to cook. I'd rather have a few more packets and it not take as long. These are also great over a campfire if you are, maybe you're camping and you don't have a grill. You could totally make these up and put them on your campfire. Have a little metal grate of some sort. Would be good. Would be real good. I don't think anything tastes as good as food cooked outdoors. It's just delicious. I think I might even need 2. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need 2 more. Yum, yum, I can't wait to eat this. Okay, we're just gonna make these up and get them on the grill. 1 more, I think, will do it. Don't want all that excess oil. Just leave what little bit's left. You could also, if you wanted to make this a meal in one, make a hamburger patty and put over top of your potatoes, make your packet a little bigger, and you've got a meal in one. So what we're gonna do now is just pop these on the grill. Oh, hear that sizzle? Immediately. You do want to rotate them about every 10 minutes or so. Whew, that's hot. Let those go for just a few minutes, and then we will put the steak on, and then we will get the mushrooms, and then the best part, I think, dessert. Be back in just a minute. Alrighty, now I have moved our foil packets kind of around in case of hot spots. And I took these 2 flank steaks that I had marinated and patted them dry. And I actually cut them in half for space reasons. And I've got people that like their steaks a little more on the medium rare and then medium well. So, that way I can customize it. So you want to pat it dry and then get them on the grill. Now, as you can see, This is a thinner cut of beef. They do not take very long at all. As a matter of fact, when I'm home, I set a timer for like 2 minutes. So if somebody will set me a timer and tell me when 2 minutes pass. That one had raw meat on it, so I don't want to use that for the cooked stuff. Now, I want to show you a little trick. If you want to cook something on the grill and you don't have a disposable pan or you don't have a grill-proof pan, take 2 sheets of aluminum foil and fold up the edges in half to make like a little pan. See what I'm doing here? I like to fold it over and get like a wall. And you've got a disposable grill pan. Okay? And I'm going to cook our mushrooms in this. I need to kind of move stuff around here. I just have some sliced baby mushrooms. I'm going to add a little bit of butter, which has completely melted. I didn't bring out a, oh well, do the best we can. And then I am actually going to take a little bit of olive oil too. And I'm going to put my mushrooms in this little container, and we'll break that big one in half because it's too big. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, pepper, and I like to add a little tiny bit of dried thyme to the cooked mushrooms. It really adds a lot of flavor. They just take a minute. So let's go back over here to the grill and let's make some room. Okay, are you ready for this? Can you see this? You see those beautiful grill marks? Yum, yum, yum. You gotta watch this because remember we did put a little honey in that marinade. Honey's a sugar. And what does sugar do? It burns. So we're gonna flip that. And I'm gonna attempt to make room for my mushrooms. I'm really good at Jenga, so I could do this. All right, let's get these on. Now we just need to let things cook. So there we go. Now, let's talk a little bit about dessert. This is delicious. This just takes a minute, and it's really good. I'm going to take a banana. I'm going to cut it in half, lengthwise, peel and all. And we're going to grill them. For just about a minute, but I obviously have to take something off the grill. The natural sugars in the bananas will caramelize. And I'll show you how we'll finish this up. All right, now I took our potatoes out of the foil, took 2 of the steaks off. Let's get the bananas going. You want to put them cut side down. Just takes a minute or so, not very long at all. Flip your steaks till they're to the desired doneness. Mushrooms are looking good. Now I want to show you how to cut these steaks. You want to take one of your steaks. I did not bring out a fork. Now, because this is a wide cut, I want to cut it in half, turn it to where the grain is, and cut it thinly across the grain. Now, this one is more medium rare. The other ones will be a little more well done. And what you will want to do is go ahead and cut it into slices. Much easier if you have a fork instead of these big long tongs. And then I like to put it on a platter and let everybody just get what they want. Okay, that one. And then let's get one of these off. And check our bananas. Nope, they need a minute more. Come on, you slippery little guy. I need a fork. Let them go just a second more while we get the mushrooms off. Let's see. Let me put that here and get the mushrooms on this one. And I will put the mushrooms just right there on the other side of the steak plate. Oops. Oh, made a mess. Oh well, that's all right. And we'll cut up the rest of the steak and serve it there. Now, let's get our bananas off, and I'll show you what we'll do. You're going to want to take a banana. We're going to drizzle it with just some purchased caramel sauce. Ice cream. Vanilla is what I like on it, but you get what you like. And then, just because I love them, a few little blueberries to go alongside our delicious grilled banana with ice cream, caramel, and berries. Here's our food. I'm going to get the rest of that off the grill, and we're going to eat. Thank you for joining with me, and I will see you next time on Everyday Mama.